Yeah, hi team. So today our topic is implementing CA with Git, GitHub functions because earlier, right? So we are mostly we have seen Azure DevOps, and recently Microsoft acquired GitHub, right? So that they have added GitHub also as the one of the curriculum, but it's not in that very depth manner, but just maybe we can see, we can compare both Azure DevOps and GitHub, maybe what are all the things maybe the GitHub is providing. So just overall we are going to see, and we'll see the what is the agenda for our today's course. Okay, so the previous sessions, right, so we have seen how we can manage the application configuration and secrets, and so the one of the solution is from Azure. We have the Azure Key Vault, so we can utilize the Azure Key Vault for storing keys, secrets, and certificate. Okay, the keys means like so for example, maybe yesterday I don't know whether I have mentioned or not. So for example, in your Azure, right, you will be having the many scenarios you have to encrypt the disk or database or anything. Okay, so during the encryption, whether you can use the Microsoft, they will be managing some keys, or otherwise you can provide the keys. So in this scenario you have to provide the keys. And when it comes to secrets, the secret means the application secrets like DB password or the token. So all the things and all will be comes under the secrets. And then the certificate. So for example, when we are configuring, maybe when we are deploying any Azure App service or Azure Kubernetes service or any kind of the web application workload, so all the request, right? So it should be maybe we need to enable the SSL. Okay, so why they are enabling SSL is because maybe you are connecting the web server from your client, right? So if you are enabling the SSL, so during the transit, right, so our request and response will be encrypted. So maybe other attackers or someone, they cannot see what it is maybe in between. So in between, if they are blocking the traffic and if they are receiving the some bits, and even if they are trying to get some information, they cannot, because that maybe the sending and receiving data, right, so that is encrypted with the certificate. So in those scenarios we will be using the Azure Key Vault, like keys, that is for the encryption mostly, and then the secrets, that is for the application security. We will be storing the DB password, FTP password, so those kind of application secrets. And after that, certificate means mostly like the SSL, maybe to configure in the web server, so something so there we will be using the key vault actually. So and we are just going to see how to create the Azure Key Vault, and inside that we can create some secret as well. Okay, and then the GitHub overview, we'll see some kind of overview, and then GitHub Actions, and so how we can accomplish continuous integration with GitHub Actions. And maybe in between, so as a native feature, the GitHub is providing the how we can maybe store the maybe GitHub, the maybe the pipeline related secrets, so where we can store, so those kind of things they will be providing it. And after that, the demo. So the demo is like we are going to create some projects, and that project will be maybe in the same project we will be having the maybe the Azure workload like Azure App Services, the .NET Core project, and the source code kernel will be maintained in the GitHub, and then the deployment will be happening in the Azure. So the Git maybe similar like Azure, right? Azure DevOps. So Azure DevOps, we have a pipelines.yaml file, right? So similar like here also the workflow file is there, and inside that the whatever the maybe the configuration we will be providing in the Azure pipeline, right? Like maybe the what is the agent and what is the requirement, and maybe which maybe based on which maybe the event or we have to trigger particular job or something. So the exactly the same like GitHub, maybe the GitHub and Azure DevOps, right? When it comes to CI, but it will be common to all the maybe the CI tools like Jenkins or Bamboo, Travis CI. For all that one is the concept is same. So for example, we will be check out the repository, and then maybe based on the branches they will automate the build. So something they have to try, right? So similar like maybe the GitHub also we need to write some kind of files. Maybe the concept will be same, only the terminologies and maybe the format would be something different. But maybe we will maybe in the maybe internet, right? We are having so much of maybe resources for that one. So we can just take a one, and even Azure also they are providing some starter project, and through some from that maybe we can start the GitHub also very easily. Okay, so this is what our today's agenda. So first one is we will see how to create the key vault and then configuring the secrets. Okay, and for example, maybe in the GitHub, right? So in this demo, we will be creating the Azure key vault and secrets. Okay, but apart from that, we are not maybe integrating with Azure App Services and all, because we are just creating the keys there, and we are not referring any values in our application. Okay, so in our GitHub, right, maybe we will be creating some Azure App Services, okay, and then it will be automatically deployed. Maybe we will try to see how we can maybe authorize Azure Key Vault to read the secrets from here to and the Azure App Service, maybe from the application code. Maybe so. Just for an example, we will see how it is working. Okay. So far, team, so do you have any queries maybe in the agenda part? Okay.
That's all.
Yeah. So the next one, right? Maybe I'm going to portal. Okay. So I think Amos has created the Azure account already. So Mebrat, have you created with Azure Pass account, the Azure account? So you are good with that, or? So I have created some resources, so I'm just deleting it. So for example, right, maybe these are all the current resources, the recent resources you can see. And maybe when you can go to the resource groups, right? So currently there are two resource groups. Maybe under that resource group, we will be having the resources and all. Okay, under the vault resource group, we are having the vault 0056, the key vault. So that is there. So if you want to delete some resource group, right, what you can do is like you can just maybe click on the delete resource group, and after that maybe you can confirm by providing the resource group name, and then we can delete that. Okay, so for in a practical scenario, right, in the same resource group we will be having the many resources. Okay, so for example, I'm just created for my learning, so that there is a only one resource. But in a practically, right, the resource group means the logical grouping of the resources. Maybe this resource group we can be use it for the dev environment and then QA environment. So that like maybe the resource group hyphen dev means the all the resources associated with the dev environment, it will be inside that resource group. And similar like we will be creating the separate resource group for the each environment. Okay, so that is like some logical grouping of resources. Okay, so in this resource, in this maybe demo, right, we are just going to create the vault alone, and then we are going to see uh, yeah, creating the secrets here. Okay, so I'm just going to home screen, and maybe here you can just type Azure Key Vault. Maybe similar like, right, maybe the VM or the Azure SQL or the storage or anything. So you can just search, and you will get the option, and from there you can start to create the resource. Okay, so here maybe still it is deleting, I guess. So even I'm deleted the resource, I have started the maybe deleting the resource, still it is showing, because I think the still right. So the deleting resource group is running actually. So once that is completed, we won't see the key vault list here. Okay, so maybe I'm just creating as the new resource, like I'm clicking on create.
So
And
key vaults is the resource group? No, right?
no.
So we need to create a resource group before we create a group, or
Hmm.
before creating a resource, right?
Yeah. So for example, the key vault, right? This is one of the resources, maybe we can say, or otherwise, maybe the secret management service provided by the Azure. Okay. But for the resource group, right? Maybe we can name it like any name. So based on your maybe understanding or conversion, we can do that. But as you said, that is correct. Before creating any resource, you can choose any either existing resource group, or you can create a new resource group also.
Okay.
Okay, so here yeah, I think now it is deleted because it's not showing the any key vaults here. Okay, so here right, so it is automatically choosing the subscription, like this is my active subscription. So this is showing here. And resource group, maybe currently, right, I don't have any resource group with this subscription. Okay, so that's why I'm creating as the new, like I'm just saying like key vault demo. And then the key vault name, and it should be unique across the Azure, maybe like because this name is already taken by someone. Yeah, yes, my bro.
Sorry, I think, yeah, I had audio issue. I was talking.
Oh,
So, yeah, I tried to set up, but it's asking me code, and but the email I got, like, on I'm in between creating this portal,
oh,
the Azure portal, but it's asking that to provide a code.
oh, okay. I think so.
And the email I got is like subscription, get email already, subscription and subscription name, subscription ID and subscription name, which is Azure Pass sponsor, and subscription ID also. But so is the code the ID?
Yeah, the code is the only the ID. Maybe the Azure Pass. So in that, I think Daniel will be providing some token, right? So the token you have to provide that just to redeem the token.
So like the token 2 times I have to provide, because I provide first to set
Yeah,
up.
yeah.
You
But
know,
anyway, right? It's not completed, right? Or it is already completed.
Yeah, it was completed, not
Okay.
completed, but
Oh,
like it's set up and then send email that from direct from the MAs.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
from
maybe what we can do, right? So I will share one URL in chat. Okay, you can just try to log in with your Microsoft account, and then you can see. Okay, for example, once you logged in with your email ID, you can just see in subscription, right? Is there anything mapped for you like Azure Pass sponsorship? If it is there, then the redemption is completed successfully. But if the subscription is not listed, right, maybe you can try one more time for all the steps.
okay. The email I get is like Azure Pass subscription and also subscription ID. But
Okay.
on the portal itself, it's asking me to provide code, but there is no code that
Yeah, but
I
I
can
think the
see.
code and the passcode, right? So mostly both of them would be same. You can so when it is asking the code, right, at that place you can
Yeah.
provide the Azure Pass or something.
Mm. I provide the one that the key that Daniel sent, and also provide the subscription ID. I just tried both, but it's not.
Okay.
Mm,
Maybe otherwise, Mibrad, can you share your screen at least?
sure.
Yeah, maybe. So Asalflow, have you
Mm.
even you have configured that one, right? The Azure account.
Yeah, see here, I configured the Azure account. That's why I'm getting this subscription ID.
No, no,
And
no, no. It's not. We should not give like welcome to. So is there
oh,
any
I
code?
think I got
I
them.
think yeah, 529-454.
So, okay, maybe it was not created earlier. Mm,
Yeah, you can go to the same
okay, so,
page. Yeah, here you can provide it.
all right, okay. So, okay. So this is the Azure portal, but do we have
Yeah.
DevOps
No, no,
also?
no, no, no. So now you can go to the same portal and just to search like
Yeah.
subscription. Yeah, in the navigation, right? I think under yeah you can otherwise you can search subscription also. Yeah, you can click on it and you should see. Yeah, you are able to see the Azure Pass sponsorship, right? So yeah, you can create the resources for the maybe for the testing or learning.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, my brother. Yeah. So the next one, right? So for example, yeah.
Okay.
So everyone clear with how to set up the Azure account. Okay. So now we are going to create the key vault. Okay. So and after that we are going to configure some kind of secrets there. Okay. So I'm just clicking on, but you can do anyway. Okay. For example, you can create the resource. You can first search the maybe the key vault here, and from here also you can start it. Otherwise, right here also create a resource. So from this path also you can create it, but whatever it is comfortable to you, you can try that one. Okay. So for example, here itself it is showing key vaults, right? So and then here it is showing create, so that I'm just clicking on create from here itself. Okay. And yeah, so before that we need to create the resource group, so that is the logical container of the resources. And maybe currently, right, with this subscription I don't have any resource group because I have just deleted the all the existing one, so that's why I have to create the new one. Okay, so I'm just creating like key vault demo. So and then I want to mention the vault name, like key vault demo and October 11. Maybe it is the unique across the Azure. So we have to provide the unique one. So if the same vault name, if someone is used, then it would show some error. So that you have to make sure like providing in the very unique way. And then the region, maybe you can choose maybe whatever it is nearer region to you. And maybe currently I'm okay with the east use, so I have selected. And then there are many pricing tier also, like standard and premium. So when we go to premium, and they will have some more advanced features, but currently for just creating the secrets, right, so we can just go with the standard one. Okay. And the soft delete means so for example, even if you are accidentally deleted maybe the passwords or the secrets and all, so still you can recover the keys for certain period of time. So that is what the soft delete. And days to retain deleted vaults, like even if you deleted the maybe the vault, um, if it can be configured some. Yeah, so for example
So
here,
this
right?
this
Yeah.
key vault, where do you navigate it? I think is it
Yeah,
under subscription?
no. Maybe you can in the search bar, right? You can just search key vault, and then here you will be getting some icon, right? The key vaults. Yeah. So from there you can start it.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So and then the for example, you can just say like the retention period. So here it is showing like 90 days. Maybe if you are deleted some vault, maybe till maybe after the deletion till the 90 days you can, if you want, you can recover it. So otherwise after that it will be deleted permanently. So that is what the retain meaning. And maybe I'm just saying like 7, it's the minimal one. And purged production, yeah. So maybe during that allow key vault and objects to be purged during retention period. Okay, enable purge by enforce a mandatory return. Yeah, it is just like uh, irreversible action. Once the purge protection plan has been set, it cannot be changed or moved. Yeah, this is some option maybe related to deletion. Yeah, maybe currently we don't need. Maybe when if maybe currently we can leave it as the basic one. Yeah. So and then, so for example, even I have said, right. So for example, the key vault can be used for maybe the disk encryption, and even from that arm template also, right. Maybe we need to refer the key vault, and so from there maybe when we are doing the infra provisioning and all, right, the infra automation, so at the time we might need the key vault, so that we are just maybe selecting it, so in whatever the scenarios we need, so and based on that it will work. But in our scenario, right, currently we are just for the application security, so we are just going to create the secrets. Okay, so for this, the permission model, the vault access policy, or Azure role based access control. So mostly, right, so we have to go with the role based access control, so that maybe based on your role, the permissions, everything will be maybe the administrator they will provide. So for example, if you are a DevOps, maybe you might need some maybe extra privilege to reset the, maybe the change the password or something. But for the developer or someone, maybe they don't need to maybe even the view the production secret also. So those kind of permission level we can set it up using the Azure role based access control. Okay, and then the networking. So the networking, maybe this one also the very big topic. So mostly, right, so the key vault. So if you're saying, right, the public endpoint for all the networks, okay, so that you can maybe you can what we can do is like, if you are specifying like public endpoint from that internet, right, you can call the Azure key vault, and then you can retrieve the results, maybe you can retrieve the secrets. Okay, the maybe the same time the public endpoint, the selected network means maybe you can provide some IP ranges, maybe you can provide some kind of firewall, so there you can restrict the call from the another, maybe the unknown maybe the networks and all, you can block it. So that's what the public endpoint. Okay, the private endpoint means like within your network. So for example, if you have, maybe when you are starting working on anything, right, so there you will be connected to the VPN. Maybe most of the times you will be connecting to the VPN, and so after that your organization work, you will be connected, so that the all the intranet application, right, so you will be able to access it. Okay, so similar like you can set up the private endpoint also. So within your network only, within your organization network only, we can access the key vault, so that maybe even others, right, even if they try to hit something, they won't be able to access it. So that is what the connectivity method. So I think most of the time, right, the networking and all the key vault, so everything will be maybe focused on the maybe other Azure architect or solution architect or developer. So in maybe the Azure administrator, right, in those maybe cases, maybe we will be talking it, but for the Azure DevOps, right? So we just need to know how they are setting up the configurations and all, but still maybe we need to know maybe how, maybe if you are using the Azure as the deployment platform, right? So at the time you should know the Azure network maybe, and maybe all those concepts also maybe we need to learn. Okay, so and maybe currently, right, maybe for this is just for a testing one, so we can go ahead with the public endpoint. Maybe when we are choosing the public endpoint, right, so there are more possibilities for the security attack. Okay, so anyone in the world, they can maybe attack our they can hit our resource endpoint. So it's somewhat it's not good, right? So that's what maybe the organization and all, they will be going with the private endpoint, so that within their network, so only the employees only can have access it, and after that within the maybe only the employees only, they will be accessing the key vault or something. Maybe whatever the application deployed in their network, right, only those applications only they will be able to retrieve the key vaults and all. Okay, so that is what the networking. And then the tag, so just for a maybe identification purpose, you can provide some tag also. So this will be applies for every resources, like maybe I am just saying like environment and this is dev. So some kind of tags you can create, or maybe you can say like manager. So this application manager is like someone maybe a Martin, so which means like so if there is any issues, right, maybe the security team, they don't know the lookup of who is the contact person for these resources and all. So in this case, if you have created the tag means, so they can easily go they will get to know the maybe the contact person for this resource, and then they will reach out to them. But I'm just saying for one example scenario, but some of them, they won't use the tagging feature also. Okay, and so the next one is we are just reviewing this one. And then now currently, right, this is running the validation. If it is successful, yeah, currently it is passed, right, then we can create it.
So question,
Yeah.
so let's say if you put like retention deletion valid is 90, then it will be automatically disable or disable after 3 months. Is there any recovering or anything? So what is
Okay.
that really
Yeah.
purpose?
So for example, now you have created one vault, okay, and then maybe after the 2 days you have deleted that one. Okay, then maybe, right, so we have enabled the soft delete, so that even maybe we have deleted the key, so still it will be there in the backup or somewhere. Okay, still we can recover it. So maybe there we are just providing the retain period, like 7 days to 90 days. So after deleting the vault, right, maybe after the fifth days, like maybe you are thinking like so those keys are very important, so that you just want to recover it. So in this case, maybe the keys and all can be recoverable. Maybe you are already set up the retain period as the 10 days, and then maybe you are thinking like to recover the keys after 20 days, means we can't recover it, so that they will be permanently, they will purge the keys and all. So it's just like a retention period something.
Okay.
Okay, so now, right, so the deployment is completed. And so almost maybe the last time also you asked, right, so whenever we are running the maybe the resource deployment, right, so I think it is creating the template also. I think it's arm templates. So maybe with that one, maybe we can create maybe another resources also, maybe other environment also, basically.
Using the CLI.
Yeah, using CLI. Yeah, maybe we can download it. Maybe you can save it in the Git also. Maybe whenever you need to create in the other environments, maybe at the time, maybe you can run the same script. But otherwise, right, sometimes maybe if you're just changing one property in the one resource, right, so that I don't know maybe how we can integrate those two scripts. So for example, currently, right, you are choosing the one resource group name, but later maybe maybe after creating the infra, maybe you are just updating some few, maybe you are just enabling some retention period from 7 to 30 or 30 to 7 something, okay, but at the time only the particular thing only will be enabled, so it won't rerun all the things. But I don't know, maybe in this scenario how it will work, maybe how we can combine the two, maybe the script actually. Okay, but there will be some option, yeah, maybe we'll see, maybe when we have a scenario, right, maybe the googling it will work. Yeah.
Okay.
So currently, right, so we have created the resources. I'm just clicking on here. um, so this is the key vault page. Okay, so this is the key vault we have just created. So here also you can see like so under which resource group we have the this key vault and location and subscription id, vault URI. So all the generic properties, right, you can just see that in the overview thing. Okay, and then the active log means who has created, or so some kind of audit logs maybe we can see here, because this one, right, I have created the key vault, so that's why it's showing like event initiated by Tamil Selvan. So even if you are modifying anything, right, if you are modifying any kind of update, so that time it will show, maybe if there is any issue with that, maybe someone has deleted or something, or maybe in those scenarios you can go to activity log and then you can see the results and all, maybe who has modified recently and what they have modified it, so those kind of details you can look up here. Okay, and another one is the access control, identity and access management. Okay, so I think for all the resources, right, it's not only like a key vault, it is for the virtual machine, Azure SQL storage and app services. For all the resources in Azure, you will be having the option, maybe if you want to provide some maybe the access, right, so for example I want to provide the access to Mebrot and Asilflow or Amos, right, so at the time what I have to do is like I have to go to IAM and then I need to click on add and add role assignment, and then here yeah, so here these are all the list of the group associated with this particular resource. Okay, so for example I'm just providing a key vault administrator role, so in this scenario I'm just going here and then I have selected the key vault administrator, and maybe I'm just want to provide the user level, right, so that I have to provide the email here. Okay, so something like so, uh, so some maybe I can provide some email and then maybe we can submit this one. Okay, so that the only the particular resource only he can be act like a key vault administrator. Okay, so similar like you can choose the what is the role they need and then you can provide the access accordingly. Okay, and so this is what the role assignment. So you are clear with this one, right? The IAM. So this one also something important. So you will be using most of the time. So this is common to all the resources also. Just like you are giving the access to others. That's it. Or you are just revoking the access to them. Okay, and apart from that the tag and those things and all we don't need to know, and so I have already said, right, so for example here we are managing the three things mostly, like keys, secrets, certificates. Okay, keys for maybe the encryption key or something, and so mostly, right, so for example if you have the VM and the OS disk and the data disk and all, it will be encrypted using the BitLocker. So for that BitLocker we have to provide the maybe key, so those keys and all will be we will be providing there, and then secrets maybe the application secrets, certificates and all. Okay, so for example we can create some secrets here. Okay, so for example I'm just clicking on the secrets window, but currently we don't have any secrets, so I'm just clicking on generate or import, and here maybe the upload option is manual or certificate. So in this case, right, I'm just providing like DB password. Okay, I'm just randomly providing 1 to 8. So this is just an example on only, right? So I'm providing this one, and then here you can provide the activation date and expiration date also, and then enabled yes. So that's it. So after that, this key is created when we are clicking on create. Okay, and after that, mm, so now the DB password, I don't know why it is not deleted, why it is not created. Set activation. Okay, so the operation is not allowed by RBAC. Um, 1 minute. So we will refresh and then we'll try again. Not allowed by RBAC. If role assignments were recently changed, please wait several minutes for. Okay, maybe otherwise, right? Access policies. I think access the Azure role-based access control, it will work. Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I think one thing is, yeah, we have changed, right? So I have to provide the access to me. So for example, in the access policies, I have I have selected it should follow Azure role-based access control, but I didn't provide any access to me. So that is the problem. So what I have to do is like I have to go to IAM and click on add role assignments, and then here I want to choose Key Vault Administrator. So and then here I need to select my username. Okay, so I have selected my name as the Key Vault Administrator. So I'm review and assign. So for the Key Vault Administrator, and then my email ID is the tamilselvan@gmail.com, and review plus assign. Okay, so now I am going to, so after this one is completed, right? So I'm going to secrets. So here I'm providing a DB password. Okay, and then I'm just clicking on create now. Maybe I don't know, it will take some time to reflect, or I think this is the, yeah, administrator. Yeah, this is fine. It is having all the permissions. Yeah, I think now the error is not, the warning message is not coming, so I think it will work. Manual DB password. So now I'm creating it. Yeah, so now it is created, right? So the issue is like in the IAM, for example, in the access policies, we have mentioned as the role-based access control it should follow. But earlier I didn't provide the access to me. Like I'm not having the key vault administrator role. So that is why I'm not able to create this one. Okay. So once I have added my user into maybe key vault administrator role, so after that I'm able to create the particular secret. Okay, and then I'm just clicking on the DB password, and this is the current version. Okay, so for example, if you want to update any new one, so you can if you want to update the password something, so you can update the password. Okay, and after that you can create it, so that it will create the two version. So this is the older password and this is the new password. Okay, and then since I am having the uh, yeah, since I am having the full permission, the administrator role, I can see the secret value and all. So for example, this is the secret value. Okay, so team, you are good with that, right? So how to
So,
yeah.
yeah. So this, you are creating new account and then assign someone. In this case.
So in access control, right, I'm just assigning the key vault. So in a key vault, right, there are many role is the built-in role is there, like key vault administrator, contributor, reader. So administrator one, they can do anything, right? So on the key vault side, so I am added into that key vault administrator role, so that I'm having the full permissions on the key vault, like creating the key vault and editing it, and maybe I'm reviewing the existing password. So everything I can see. Okay.
Oh, so this DB password, it's not new account.
No.
It's, you are assigning, okay.
Yeah, the DB password, right? This is some one key value. Like this is the password I have created. So for example, so just I have created, right? And then I have when I'm creating it, so I this is the password. Okay, and after that, I think it is not showing. I think this is the old one right now, so that's why it's not showing. So this is the current version, and we are able to see the what is the secret value and all. Okay, and then maybe when you are providing this one, right, maybe when you are referring when you are calling, right, so this is the URL for the particular key vault. Okay, the DB password key vault, right? So this is the uh, yeah, this is the URI for the particular key vault. Maybe if you want to access this from any application, right, to retrieve the DB password, so they need to call this endpoint actually. So you got it right. Yeah. So this is just like a URI.
Who will manage this then? The IAM team?
Yeah, mostly the DevOps team or the infra team, they will manage it.
So do they have to create so many accounts,
Yeah. Yeah.
or they just provide this to? Okay, how do? Let's say there are so many DBAs, developers, or so. You know, if they want to provide access here, so do they have to create so many DB kind of DB passwords or this account, or do they have to add it their individual account here, like as a central?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
is this kind of AD? That's what I'm asking.
Okay. So for example, right, so this key vault, okay, you can consider this key vault for the particular application in a specific environment. Okay, so for example, let's say we have a one application called maybe the payroll application. Okay, so for the dev environment you can manage all the keys for the dev environment. So for example, the dev environment also we will be having the many keys, right? So that we will be having all the keys related to that application for the specific to dev environment alone. Okay, so you will be creating a one more instant, one more key vault with the same keys but with a different password information for the UAT and production environment. Okay, and maybe when you are providing the access to your dev and your dev team, right, you can provide the here, right, in the access control, and you can provide the access only this is the dev one, right? So that you can provide the access to your dev team. Okay, but in the production and all, they only the maybe the team manager or they only will have it. So that even the DevOps team or even dev team, so no one will have access to the what is the current secret values there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, and apart from that, yeah, similar like the keys and certificate also, the access policies and the networking. Maybe if you want to set it up something like it should have to be, so we are going to read the keys from the private network, so at the time you have to select accordingly. And security monitoring, so monitoring and all, maybe so who is reading the secret, so from which place, if there is something unsuspicious activity, so at the time and all we can alert it. So that is the common maybe monitoring solution for all the other resources also. Okay, and then the diagnostic setting means so these are all the logs and all will be captured. So for example, in the diagnostic audit event and Azure policy evaluation details, all metrics. So the audit events, so everything will be captured, and based on that your so the logs, everything will be pushed to either the log analytics or the storage account or event hub or any other partner solution. Okay, so all the captured logs, so you got it right. So it's something like, yeah, maybe the audit event. Okay, if someone is deleted or if someone is updated, so those logs and all will be captured if I am selecting this one. Okay, so those information, it has to be stored in any one of the destination, right? It can be anything like the log analytics, so that is the native feature provided by Azure, and like storage account from that blob or file, right? So you can store the log, maybe the log events in the storage account also. Okay, and then maybe if you want to store it somewhere like Elasticsearch or Splunk, in those scenario also we have to choose. Okay, so you got it right, my bro Amos?
Yes, Allah.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm good.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. So this is what the like key vault.
What is
Yeah,
here?
yeah. So currently, right, from the key vault side, we understood, but the next challenge, right? So from the application code, uh, how you are going to reach out to the particular endpoint, and then you are retrieving the DB password. So from it can be like the .NET code or the Java or Python. Okay, so that is the next one. Maybe that we can maybe at the when we are seeing the GitHub demo, right? At the time I will show you maybe how we can configure the URI in the uh, yeah, in the app services or something. Okay, so this one. Okay, so the next one, right? Yeah. So okay, Tim. So we are good with the creating Azure Key Vault and configure secrets. So let's go to the next one. So the next one is the GitHub. Okay. So I already said because in the CI integration world, right, in the DevOps, we have the many tools, not only like Azure DevOps, Jenkins, like initially the GitHub and all, they are just starting like hosting the maybe the Git repositories, and the day by day they are adding some new features. So like integrating the build and CI/CD solution also with the same environment. So even I have used very long back, but just for this session only, I have again I'm logged into the GitHub account. But currently, right, they are providing the same CI/CD solution as like in Azure DevOps also. Okay, so I think they are just evolving, and even earlier they are just like a source code management tool, but now they are providing more features for the CI and CD, so that yeah, maybe currently they are also like the one of the CI tool. Okay, and but the coding everything, right, that will be common only, like the code. So for example, when we are making some comparison, right, like Azure DevOps and GitHub. Okay, so here maybe in the Azure DevOps we will be having the repository in the Azure repos, but in the GitHub we have the repository. Okay, for all the pipelines, right, similar like here we are having the Azure pipelines.yaml file, right. So similar like in there also, in the GitHub also they will be maintaining some workflow.yaml file. Okay, so there also we need to have something like in which agent we have to run, and so based on which events we have to trigger the particular job, and so those things we have to mention. But only the thing is, the concept everything is same, like build, stage, job, and agent job or agent machine, the self-hosted or Microsoft hosted. But here they will be calling like a GitHub hosted. So they will be calling like Microsoft hosted, but here the GitHub hosted something. But the concept everything would be the same only. Okay. So for example, they are right in the Azure DevOps. Maybe we are just calling like CI pipeline, right? But here they are calling it like actions. Okay, for all the features they are providing, right? They are providing like actions. So by combining all the actions, they are able to accomplish the continuous integration feature. Okay, so based on the action means like the automated testing or code review or deployment, so anything, so those are all the actions, right? So when the actions will be happen means, so is there any event is happened? Okay, if there is any event is happened, the particular workflow will be triggered, the particular workflow will be called job, and then the job will have the sequence of script or the maybe the command needs to be run, and after that the action means it will be successfully completing any one of the action, like the dev deployment, automated testing, or anything. Okay, so for example the event, right, the for example of the event. Okay, so for event means when you are pushing your code from your local machine to Git repository, so that is the one event. Okay, and one more thing is like you are creating a you are creating pull request from one branch to the master branch, so that one also one event. Okay, so when the particular event, for example when you are pushing the code, so that is the push event. Okay, and after that, so maybe the build workflow is started. Okay, so the build workflow means the under that build workflow, right, we will be having the job like compile and run unit test case and running the .NET build, and then creating the jar, sorry, maybe the release build. So everything will be happen, and finally the build action is completed. Okay, so this is what this meaning actually. And then the workflow, so for example here in Azure DevOps, right, we will be calling it like maybe the pipelines, but here they have the terminologies saying like workflow, so that is the only one different, but the concept everything is same, but the just a terminology, right? So when you are going from Azure to AWS or the GitHub to GitLab or maybe Azure DevOps, but all the concepts will be same, but only they won't exactly copy the terminologies. So but they would change the terminologies actually. Okay, so for example in that there, right, we will be calling it like pipelines. Here they are saying like pipe, maybe the workflow. So that is the difference between in the GitHub. Okay, and then when I'm saying in the event, right, what are the possible events? Okay, the events can be like scheduled events. You can set up some cron expressions, so with that cron expressions maybe the build or maybe the something, you can automate it, like you if you want to run any specific command on the the first day of the month at 7 a.m. something, you can set it up some kind of cron expressions, and and after that it will, so when the time is met, so it will automatically start the build everything. Okay, and apart from that, so this is the scheduled event. Okay, the cron is the scheduled event, and another one, right, the pull request and push. So those things and all the so event from the GitHub. So when you're raising the pull request, so it is the one event. So after that, the build everything has to run or not. So the integration based on the event, we are just starting the integration. Okay, and for example, here one more the changes also. This is called runner. Okay, for example, in Azure DevOps, right, we have discussed about the agent mission. Even they are also having some agent mission called the Microsoft hosted and self hosted, right? So similar like the agent and runner is the same thing, but only here also they are providing the two option. So some of the agent can be hosted by the GitHub itself, and if you want to configure your own VM or machine as the runner, then you can configure it. So similar like whatever the steps we have followed there, right? So the same steps, maybe they will have some documentation, we have to follow that one. So if you want to make it, so some particular machine as the runner. Okay, and so the next one is the job. So the job we know, right, like maybe the so in Azure DevOps, right, the pipelines can be broken down into many stages, and then the stages will have many jobs, and then the particular job will have the many steps. Okay, the same applies to here also, like the series of steps runs on the runner. Okay, like build, compile, so those are all the just like a job. No, like the build is a one job, and under that compile, unit test, and then creating the jar, building the source code. So those and all one of the steps in the job. Okay, so this is the some overview, team. So the next one, right, maybe we can see some a sample pipeline. Maybe yeah, we have to follow the some format whatever the GitHub is expecting it, but we can just see some overall pipe, maybe the workflow file, and then we will get some understanding on it. Okay, but only the terminologies and all will, it will be new only. But maybe if you want to if you want to work in the GitHub, maybe after that, yeah, you will be familiarizing with that. Okay, so maybe for this one, right, only one session. So we are not going deep into it, but we are just having overall idea, maybe how it is related to Azure DevOps. So those kind of knowledge we are acquiring it here. Okay, so team, at least if you have any queries in the GitHub or Azure DevOps in the maybe the comparison something, yeah, you can ask me. So maybe not Amos, so you are good.
I'm just thinking if is there any possibility, like let's say you will take the baseline from one server and then deploy it to another server, for example?
So can you please come again?
Like with this DevOps process, whether it's by using pipeline or any comparison. Let's say if you like scripting or taking like source database as a baseline, and then using that migration script and comparing with any other lower environment, or it could be even prod to prod, can you deploy using DevOps process?
Okay, so you're just asking how
Yeah.
it would be in the both GitHub and Azure DevOps. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. So for example, in Azure DevOps, right, you will be maintaining the source code in the Azure repos. Okay. But in the GitHub, right, you will be having the repository in the main page itself. Okay. And there you in the Azure DevOps, you will be having the maybe the Azure pipelines tab, and there you will be configuring the CI/CD pipeline. But in the GitHub, right, so they will be having some workflow folder, and inside that they will be having the workflow.yaml file or something. So in the next slide we can see that one, but the concept would be the same thing only, Membrad. Okay, for example, you are currently, right, so uh, in our Azure DevOps, we will be having the agent mission. Inside the agent mission, the checkout or maybe the running the build, copying the build, and deploying to dev environment. All the series of jobs or steps will be happened in the agent job. But here also the same thing. Here also it will, all the steps will be executed in the runner. So because, right, the runner and the agent job is the same thing only.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. I think mostly yeah, it's not only like GitHub and Azure DevOps, but most of the CI tools, right? So it will be same only. If you understand the concepts, you just want to know how they are triggering or automation and all, how they are doing. So based on that, we can do that. Okay, so that we just need to know, understand the maybe the terminologies, and after that yeah, the concept everything will be same. So the main thing is we need to understand the concepts, my brother. But apart from that, everything will be the same only. Even if they're asking you to work in the GitLab or Bamboo, so all those concepts will be same. So everyone, they will try to accomplish the CI concept or best practices. So the terminologies would be different, but based on that, you have to change the YAML file or the built-in task actually.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, we are going to see the how they are doing the CI with the GitHub Actions. Okay, so this is, they are calling it like workflow YAML file. In the Azure DevOps, we will be calling like Azure pipelines, right? So here they are calling it like uh, workflow. Okay, and even so the name and on and jobs, right? So they are having, they are following some other format, the YAML, right? They are just following some other schema. So for example, here the name is like this is the workflow name. Like the .NET build is something like workflow name, and on means on which event they have to trigger the particular job. Okay, so this is the git push. Okay, and then under that they will be under the one workflow, we will be having the mini job like build, test, and security scanning, dev deploy, QA deploy, production deploy. So there can be many job. So and here the one example is the build, they are providing it. Okay, and then this is runs on the Ubuntu latest. Okay, maybe in they are, right, in Azure DevOps we will be providing the agent, maybe the agent pool and agent
Mhm.
machine name, right, like a self-hosted
Yes.
or a default one. And similar like here they are having the schema name like runs on, and then here we have to provide Ubuntu latest or something. And here the strategy, right, for example I am going to build a node application. Like node means either it can be React or Angular. So for just building this one, in my agent mission or runner mission, I need to have a node version 10.x should be installed. Okay, this is my requirement. Okay, so you got it, right? So in the runner or the agent mission, it will be installed. Okay, so that is the criteria. So the job will be assigned what maybe whatever the runner or agent mission having the installation of node version 10.0 10.x. Okay, and then the here this is the some series of steps, and like this is the checkout main branch, and after that this is setting up the .NET version. And then here, right, for example at the end, uh, I think this is hiding, and here we are in the last line, right? Yeah. So the run command, right? There we are running .NET build and awesome project. Okay. So that is the command. So that will take the source code, and then it will provide the binary output. Okay, so this is the sample CI file, Membrad. Okay, maybe ASL flow. Okay, so this is the sample file. Maybe so the next one, right, maybe in the demo maybe you will be understanding, like even we don't want to maybe create or any kind of file. So from that Azure they are providing some DevOps starter, and there we can easily start the maybe the .NET or the Java or React starter template, and from there we can easily get started with the CI CD and all. Okay, so for example this is the sample one, and the next one, right? So for example, and one more thing also, how we can manage the app secrets and configs with the GitHub. Okay, so for example, sometimes we will be passing the credentials in the build time, right? If we want to build time, then the runner should have the ability to receive the secrets, and maybe during the build time they will be injecting the password in the application binary. Okay, so for example this is the placeholder. For example, if they want to retrieve the username, so this is the syntax, like this is the expression they have to write it, and to retrieve the password. Okay, the variable should be mentioned in the GitHub, like the db username and db password, right? That secret variable they have to mention in a GitHub one, so that we can see it in the next slide. Okay, maybe how we can configure the secrets. Okay, yeah, otherwise I will show now. For example, I'm just logging into GitHub. Mm, okay, so this is my GitHub repository. Okay, and then maybe these are all the repositories are there, and I'm just clicking on any one of the project. Okay, and here, right, we will be having the settings. Okay, under the settings here we are having the secrets. Okay, and here we can for example new repository secret, right? Like I am here, I'm provide like db username. Okay, and then the username can be username 01. Okay, this is the username. Okay, so currently the secret is created. Okay, the currently the secret is created. Okay, so how they are referring it in their code, they are referring using this syntax. Okay, the db secrets is the main keyword, and dot, and db username, when they are adding this value, maybe adding this expression, when the script is running in the runner machine, it will automatically replace the actual username value. And similar like this is for the password also. So you got it, right, Flow and Mebrod?
Right. So you create a DB username. So, but did you provide password also when you created
No,
on the
no,
GitHub?
no. For
No.
example,
Okay.
for an example, I am just created the DB username. Okay, but here
Right.
also, right, they have just for an example, they provide the example for the two keys. It's not only like the DB username and password. Okay, maybe if I want one more thing like DB connection string. Okay, DB connection string. So I can provide the original value, but I'm just providing some example value because I don't have any SQL database connection and all, right? So I'm just providing the DB connection string as the value for currently. Okay, but otherwise it should be something like the host name, like mostly the uh, I think the port, I guess the SQL server is listening on 3389, or maybe no, I think some other port. Okay, and the database name and everything we have to mention in the DB connection string, and maybe in the similar syntax, like whatever the syntax, right? There you will be providing like secrets.db connection string, something like you will be providing it. So I'm just showing so how they are mentioning the secrets in the GitHub, and how they are referring the particular secrets in the work, maybe the workflow file, the pipeline file, how they are referring it. Okay.
Okay.
So the next one is demo, I guess. Yeah. So the next one we'll see some demo. Okay. So here the thing is like I'm just to go open into the portal.azure.com. Okay, and here we are going to use the DevOps starter. So that is the one service is there. Maybe like I'm just searching DevOps starter. Okay, so I'm getting this one. So here what I'm trying to do is like I'm just going to create a new one. So what it will do is like it will create some sample code and sample pipeline for the particular technology and for the particular deployment platform. It will create and the code will be pushed into the GitHub. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so for example, I'm in the DevOps starter. I'm clicking on create. Okay, so here I want to choose maybe which application you are going to start with. Okay, maybe you have the many options, right? Like the Ruby, Go, and Java, maybe the static website, Python, PHP, Node.js, and .NET and all. So maybe you can choose anything, but sorry, maybe but you don't have the maybe the red gate option is not there. Okay, but those scenarios, so we only needs to add manually, maybe for all the logics, everything, right? We have to add it, but these are all the popular things. Maybe the application only they will do the CACD, right? So that they have added the popular thing here. Okay, so maybe I'm choosing the .NET one. Okay, so the next one I am choosing the technology like .NET, Node, or Python, PHP, and then the next one is I need to choose the framework. Okay, in the .NET also there are two subdivision, like they are ASP.NET or ASP.NET Core. The ASP.NET Core is the advanced one. Okay, with the Docker support and everything. Okay, so I'm choosing the ASP.NET Core framework. Okay, and then the next one is we need to choose the Azure services. Okay, in which service I'm going to deploy the particular .NET ASP.NET Core application. Okay, so here actually in this template, right, they are providing the four option: the Kubernetes service, Windows web app, Linux web app, or web app for containers. Okay, so maybe the easiest one would be the web app. The Kubernetes and all, we need to have so much of learning, like in the Docker and Helm, or there are many concepts we need to know that one. But for the simplicity, right, we can go with the Linux web app. Okay, but you have
Which
to
one is commonly used though?
but the advanced level, right, the Kubernetes will be used. Okay, but this is for the microservice related projects. So right, you heard, right, the Docker, Kubernetes and all. Okay, so for
Yes, Docker.
yeah, so that will be the platform for deploying the microservices based application. Okay, so if you have creating anything like maybe the monolithic application, you don't need to go with Kubernetes. At the time you have to choose Windows web app or Linux web app. Okay, so if you have any microservice related projects like more than 20 services or more than 5 or 10, if you're having the multiple services, then you have to dockerize the application, and then you have to deploy it any one of the containerization based deployment platform. Okay, so the Kubernetes also containerization based one, but the Windows web app and Linux web app is the platform as the service. And so this is for the normal workload, so similar like IaaS or Tomcat web server. So they will be providing the platform to deploy our application code. So this is the simple one, maybe out of four, right? These two is the easiest one. And maybe the Windows web app, we are maybe when it comes to deployment and all, right, so everyone will be preferring in the Linux environment only. Okay, so that it is good to start with maybe Linux. Maybe the in a Windows we are developing, right, but if there is anything, so most of the team, right, they will be doing the deployment all in the Linux only. So then I'm just using the Linux one. Okay, but you won't be facing any kind of differences. Okay, if you are choosing the Linux one, it will be running in the Linux machine, but if it will be in the Windows, it will be deployed in the Windows. But we are just selecting the template, but we don't know, maybe we don't have any control like the host name or any username and password to connect to the Linux machine and all. Okay, so just the underlying operating system would be the Linux environment, but apart from that we don't have any options to interact with that. Okay, yeah, so I'm just creating that. template. Okay, so for example here I have chosen the runtime like the .NET Core or sorry .NET. Okay, and after that I have chosen the framework, either it can be the ASP.NET or ASP.NET Core, and then I am choosing the Azure services where I want to deploy it, like AKS cluster or App service or the Azure container services. Okay, in that I have chosen the Azure, maybe the Linux web app. Okay, and then finally we have to create it. For creating this one, right here we need to provide the GitHub account. Okay, so automatically they will add all the CI/CD code, and then the maybe the .NET, the sample application, right? They will be adding the all the code into the GitHub. Okay, so for example, I'm authorizing to the GitHub. Okay, so this is my organization, because my GitHub account is the this is the username. Okay, so the repository, right? The repository name I can provide like GitHub demo.
Oh, this is new repository name you
Yeah,
are
so
providing.
this repository will be created in the GitHub, so automatically. Okay, and then the web app name I'm configuring like, yeah, the same name. If you want it, you can edit that one, so otherwise you can leave it as it is. Okay, and then the location currently it is chosen like South Central CS, so that is fine. So now you understood, right? You have selected the runtime framework service, and then finally the GitHub I am authorizing it, and finally it will be deployed. It will be adding the source code in the GitHub, and actually it will be pushed to the Azure also. Okay, so we will just click on create it. Okay, I think it will take some time because it needs to add a code in GitHub, and after that it will be deploy the sample application it is created, right? The starter application, it will be pushed to the Azure also. Okay, yeah, we'll wait for yeah, maybe 1 or 2 minutes. I think once it is completed, yeah, we'll see. So maybe if you want, right, you can maybe you can create the GitHub account also, because most of the time, right, maybe it's not only like working with GitHub, because that is the open source platform, right? So many of the reusable codes you can find that, maybe the Redgate also, maybe someone they will be pushing the code. Maybe you can you will have some many references also. Okay, maybe you can clone it and then you can just start working on it.
Right.
Okay, so for example, the Azure DevOps, right, it is completed the resource deployment. Okay, so the next one is I'm just going to the resource, so you can see what are all the resources it is created. Okay, so for example, under this one, I think it should create yeah. So what we need to do is like, I think it will take some time. I think the deployment, the Azure, the project is created when we are deploying from the so this one, right? This one we just created it. Okay, the GitHub October demo October 11, right? So this one we just created, right? So it will be started the execution basically. So for example, the workflows and application and ARM templates for creating the infrastructure. So everything is created it, and I think it should run. It should run the build.
But it shows, so it was created, you mean?
Yeah, it is
Because it
created.
shows it was created 2 days ago here, like the
No,
application.
no, just 2 minutes ago, right? It is created just 2 minutes ago. When you are
But
creating the starter
only
template,
the,
right? It will automatically
yeah,
create it.
only the first one though. Only this one, GitHub like workflow.
Yeah.
That one it shows 2 minutes, but the other is 2
Yeah.
days ago.
Yeah, maybe right. I think when they are running some, maybe when we are just creating the starter project, right? Maybe wherever they are referring the particular folder that was created or updated 2 days ago. Okay.
Before.
But anyway, the GitHub, the workflow and all, right? They need to update, right, based on our project name, everything. So that's why they are just updating the maybe the workflow document alone. Okay, so now I'm just clicking on actions. Yeah, I think this one is, I think, currently running. Yeah. So currently the build is completed. The next one deployment is currently happening. Once that is completed,
Deploy where?
come again, Memprod.
So the deployment is where it's happening.
Yeah, it will be happen in the runner. So I have said, right, maybe in the, so there is the Microsoft similar like in Azure DevOps, right? They will be having the Microsoft hosted agent. So similar like in GitHub also, we will be having the GitHub hosted agent machine.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's okay.
Yeah. So for example, here the build is completed, deployment also completed. So now you can see in the portal, it will be created.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. This has created the app service and then application insights also. So for example, this has completed the app service deployment. So after, yeah, so this is the application URL, right? When we click on browse, so we can see the deployed application here. So this is the deployed application from the GitHub.
Okay.
Okay, maybe if you want to edit something in the coding, right? So for example, in here, so this is the application, right? If you want to make some changes in the uh, code, then it will be changed accordingly there. Okay, I think these are all the pages, right? Like about page, contact, privacy, everything. Okay, so this is the index, right? So maybe if when we are changing this one, maybe automatically it will update here also. Maybe once the GitHub action is started, we can see the changes in the portal also.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the repository and this is the application. Maybe the .NET core we have chosen there, right? So that this one will be taken there, and this one is the ARM templates. So we have chosen the Linux web app, right? So that service is from the Azure. Okay, to create that one, so the ARM templates will be created. So this is the script. So with this script, they might create the Azure web app and all. Okay. So the ARM templates for the resource creation, the web app creation, and the application will have the source code, and the workflow will have the currently we can see, right? There are three jobs: build, deploy, and then another one also, functional test. So we can see there, right? For example, totally three jobs were running, right? So I think still it is running. Yeah, so currently build and deploy is completed, and the functional testing is it is running actually. Okay, so deploy ASP.NET Core app to Azure Web App. Okay, so this has created the source code, and then it will create the Azure Web App service in Azure, and after that it is copying the ASP.NET Core application to the Azure Web App, and finally, right, so here we are able to see the application also here. Like this is the application endpoint, and this is the web app. GitHub demo October 1, right? 11, right? So this is the web app. Okay, maybe here we can go here also. Like yeah, under this one it is created. So for example, I am going to this resource, and under this resource
Sure. So I think it's giving some warning, right?
here, right, the warning. Package reference to is not necessary when targeting .NET Core 3.0 or higher. Yeah, that is maybe when they are running the build, right? I think they might be referring the ASP.NET Core.app. Okay, so this is not necessary when they are using the .NET Core 3.0 or higher. Okay, so I think our deployment platform is more than the version is above 3.0, so that's why it is showing like ASP.NET Core .app is not needs to be mentioned. So that is basically maybe this is the .NET application, right? So they will provide some warning, and similar like when you are choosing the Java or Node application, right? So similar like
Right.
there also it will provide some kind of warnings. So all the warnings and all here we are here it will display.
But the warning is while it's deploying, meaning that what's like, let's say, can we say like it's kind of notification? Because if it's warning, like it's supposed to be before build or before, I mean, deploying something, right?
Yeah. So
But
during
now the
so during the build stage, right? So for example, if you click on the build, you can see all the execution logs. Okay, for every task, right, you can see all the executions log, like getting action, download info, download action. So these are all actually the deployment log. Okay, but somewhat like the maybe you want to know, right, what is the warning, or if there is any exceptions or error you want to know, right? So that they are just
right
highlighting
before.
only the warning alone. Okay, so for example, if there is any error, right, so the error also it will display here, but the currently the error is not happening, so that's why they didn't mention anything here.
Okay.
Okay, so here Azure App Services. Yeah, so under the Azure App Services, right, this one is created. Okay, so in this here only the current the application, right, deployed. So this is the application, and from here also we can navigate to the particular application URL. Okay, so this is the deployed application, right? So this is the app service that is created by the GitHub. Okay, you got it, Mebrod, Flow.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and then one more thing, right? So for example, the infrastructure is created by GitHub, and then application also it is pushed to the Azure. Okay, the one thing is, right, so currently, for example, in this application we have some kind of keyword needs to be referred. Okay, at the time what we need to do is like we need to go to configuration, and in that configuration we need to mention the password actually there. I think here it will be something like, yeah, identity. And then so for example my brother, so you understood, right, from the GitHub to the infra creation and then the deployment. So when we are running the GitHub workflow, based on that it is running and it is deployed the application also. Okay, so now the next thing is, right, so how we can call the Azure key vault to fetch the password. So that is the next task. Okay, so maybe the last demo, right, we have created the key vault and all there. So now the requirement is like, so for example this is my web application. Okay, this is my web application. It is having some kind of a DB connection string. Okay, so from where I need to refer it. Okay, the connection string should be securely stored somewhere, right? So for example that connection string was stored in the key vault. Okay, so how I can refer the key vault, the particular key, how I can get the current key in the Azure App Services. Okay, for every application platform it will differ. Okay, so for example the first task could be I need to in that app service, right, I need to enable the system assigned managed identity. That one I have to enable it. Okay, so I have enabled it and then I'm clicking on save. Okay, so the next one is yeah, so the next one is I need to go to key vault. So here I have provide the yeah, I have enabled the system managed identity, and now I am going to key vault. So I think this is the one we have created, right? Yeah, key vault. And here in that IAM, like here I'm clicking on role assignment. Maybe the reader, right, maybe the my application only needs to read the resources. It shouldn't, the application, right, it should not update any kind of secrets, right? It is just need the reader only permission only. Okay, so you understood, right? Because my application will just read the secrets, it won't update secret, or it don't need to maybe the delete the keys and all, we don't need, right? It just needs to retrieve the keys, that's it. Okay, so I'm just choosing the reader role alone. Okay, uh, so here I'm choosing the manager identity, and here because we have enabled the system manager identity in the app service, right, so that it is automatically displaying here. Okay, the GitHub demo October 11. Okay, so if I'm choosing this one, so our application will have the reader role. Will reader role means it can read the secrets from the key vault. Okay, I am just selecting on it, and then I'm review plus assign. So when I'm clicking review plus assign means so this application will have the uh, yeah, so this is the maybe my application details, GitHub demo October 11, and the type is app service. Okay, it is just having the reader access on the particular key vault. Okay, so I'm just clicking on review plus sign assign. Okay, after that is completed, right, so from that application side maybe we can retrieve the password. Okay, so for example what I need to do is like I need to go to secret. I'm clicking on the DB password, and I'm clicking on the current version, I need to copy the secret identifier. Okay, I need to copy the secret identifier, and I need to go here. I have copied the because right in the Azure keyword I have provided the permission to the my app service. Okay, so I'm copying the key identifier from the Azure keyword. So now I'm copying this one. I'm going to the app service. Okay, so from the app service I'm going to the configuration tab. So here this is the configuration, right? Okay, so I'm just clicking on the configuration, and so it will actually ask some key value thing, for example the connection string, right? So I'm just clicking on the new connection string I'm going to provide. Okay, so for example my connection string name is like a db connection string, and then the value here, right, I need to pass it like the whatever the key identifier I have copied, right? So that one I need to copy here. Okay, and then here maybe I can choose whatever the SQL server type is, like SQL server Postgres or whatever it is, I can copy here. Okay, and I'm just clicking on OK. Maybe during the runtime, right? So here it is created. Okay, so during the runtime, maybe when the application is during the startup, it will try to get the connection string from the key vault. It will hit the particular application endpoint, and then it will retrieve it, and after that it will assign to the code, so that you will get the db connection string. So if you want to update the connection string, so you have to restart the after updating this one, you have to restart it, so that it will get the latest connection string, and then it will inject into the application. So you understood, maybe the only one thing is like, so first what you need to do is like,
Going to work.
yeah. So for example, first you are enabling the system assigned identity in the app service. Okay, and the next one is you are going to maybe key vault, and there you are providing the reader only permission to the particular our application identity. Okay, and after that maybe you are going to the secret, and then you are getting the key identifier, and finally you are copying that one in the configuration. Okay, in the db connection string, or maybe the application setting, so wherever you need. Okay, you are just copying this one, just the url you are copying it, so that during the maybe the application deployment time, it will call the particular url, and then it will be get the password. Okay, so for example, right, currently we are not storing the connection string, so that is the secure one, right? So we are just providing the url, even if anyone can see that one, so it's not any vulnerable to the our application. Okay, we are not actually storing the password or db connection string, we are just storing the reference of the maybe the connection string in our key vault. Okay, so whenever it is needed, if the role everything the authentication authorization is successful, so then only it will retrieve the username and password. Okay, yeah. So okay, my brother, maybe the initially, right, so it will be something uh, tough, maybe it's not like tough, something challenging, but I will I have some url, so that is having some good reference about maybe the storing Azure App Service secrets on Azure Key Vault. So I will just send you the maybe the link, so that maybe by just going through, or you can just try something in your own account, so that you will be understood better.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. 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 Okay, my brother. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we can wind up the call. Maybe we'll connect tomorrow. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Good night. Bye.
So you're sharing me that, or do
Yeah. Yeah. I
you
will
sharing
share.
the document?
Okay. Okay. So currently I will share in the chat. Maybe you can copy this one, and maybe I will send everyone in the mail also.
Sure. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Sure. Bye.